Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's special episode of Tomorrow is Dead, Season 2. I am very excited let me try that again in a language. I'm very excited tonight to present you with our special episode cast. Um, we'll probably take a second and I'll let them introduce themselves, although you may recognize a few of them from having been on the channel. I think all of you have been on the channel at some point or another. So yeah, thanks so much for being here. Um, so, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through some quick pre-episode announcements, and then I'm allow these folks to introduce themselves. I think we'll wait on introducing your characters until they actually come in on screens. I think that'll be more impactful overall. Um, but yeah, so pre-episode announcements, which I definitely wrote down and have totally memorized, and I'm ready to present them to you. So, nope. No. First and foremost, one of the best ways that you can support this stream is you might notice right now on the screen there we have some Tomorrow is Dead Season 1 collage t-shirts, which you can get in our merch store. Exclamation point merch in the chat on Twitch. If you are watching on Twitch, should take you to the link. There is a collage tee designed by our very own Bree Danan. Bree did a wonderful job designing these shirts with a bunch of iconic items from Season 1, as well as some little Easter eggs and stuff like that. They're very cool, and you should get one. Or 7. I don't know. Get a lot of them. They're very cool. 7, yeah, exactly. So you can get those right now, and during the entire duration of the season, you may be able to get them afterwards, but we haven't quite decided on that yet. Stay tuned for that announcement. But just in case, you might as well just get in there and get one. Other things to note, we have a few more episodes to the first half of the season before we will be going on our holiday breaks. At the moment, I do not have the actual full schedule in front of me, or even figured out yet, but keep an eye on our Discord and our socials, as we will be giving you that information as we get closer to it. I think those are really the big ones, so I think without any further ado, I'm going to go around. We're going to start with Steve. You've been here before. Steve, why don't you go ahead and get started and introduce yourself?
I have been lucky to be here before. My name is Steve. I go by Hermes4939 a lot of places on the internet. You can find me and I still call it Twitter, Hermes4939, and the same on Sky.
Awesome. Danny.
Hey, hello, I'm Dana Gage. My pronouns are she, her, and I play a lot of actual plays. You can probably see me more often on my Wednesday night channel, That's How We Roll, or with Pixel Circus doing various things for fun. And yeah, that's me. Find me on the internet. It's at Bitterthorn.
You can also find Danny on Rule of Lore's past broadcast, The Gift of Goblins.
Which is a really fun one.
Playing Granny, the Granny Goblin. I loved her so much.
Yeah.
And of course, you know where you love her, Allison. By this point, well, maybe not now, because by this point they all know. They know what we did.
Surprise, bitch. I'm guilty of war crimes, apparently.
Just feelings crimes. No big deal.
It's fine. I already know what the chat's gonna look like. It's fine. I have my own command on the Twitch now.
That's true.
It's fine.
That's true.
Anyways, hi, I'm Allison. She, her pronouns. We're not talking about characters yet, but I think you all know who I'm playing. Anyways, hi. Yeah, I'm at Terrible, like tarot cards, BLE, because I'm capable of terrible puns. And I hope you guys like this. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, it feels weird to play the title sequence when the main cast isn't here, but I think I'm going to do it anyway because I'm very proud of it and I want to play it. So that's what's happening. And welcome back. So to begin this episode, we are going to be starting about, I'm going to say about almost 3 years ago. Kit, uh, it's been a couple of months since you were last with your friends. Oops, this is the wrong track. Try that again. Um, it has been a couple of months. Um, you have been in that time wandering. Um, the desolate lands around your hometown, now overrun with the dead or empty of any presence whatsoever. You, in this moment, as you are, it's one of the first, looking back on these times, this is one of the first moments you remember becoming lucid again. Though looking back on it, you know it had been a couple of months since the incident that separated you from your friends. At the time, you had no idea. It could have been months, it could have been days, it could have been years. What you remember is that this moment is the moment that brought you out of your fog. The moment when you hear a clattering, sputtering sound coming from the adventure mobile. You hear that sort of like grating, clacking sound as the vehicle suddenly lurches, and you feel the engine cut out as you just coast.
Fuck. I'm gonna put my foot on the brake.
Mm-hmm.
What's around me?
Immediately around you, looking at your surroundings, you see, you appear to be in, like, not quite a suburb. It's a lot more sparse than that, but there are some buildings around you, and what looks like some warehouses. You can see some old, dilapidated trucks, semi trucks that are just still backed up to the carport, or the loading docks of these warehouses. And that's kind of the closest thing that's to you. But you can see what looks like a residential area not too far away off the other direction.
I'm gonna do my best, like, as it's slowing down, to like steer off to the side a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it slows to a stop, like, I think I fucking slam my hand on the dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
I know better than to slam the wheel, but
Yeah. I think we'll cut to just a little ways ahead as you've managed to kind of steer the coasting vehicle off to the side, off of the road entirely. As you, I sort of imagine like a scene where you have like the side of the side door of the van is slid open. You're sort of sitting on the floor of the car, legs out onto the road with kind of like a makeshift canopy set up over the entrance, shielding you from the late, kind of late summer, early fall sun. Looking at the old road map that you and your friends use to navigate, kind of trying to see what is around and pinpoint where you are.
I'm gonna look at the map, pull out a Sharpie out of one of the bags in the back and draw another X on it. I figure out where I am on it.
I think I want you to give me a survival roll here.
Okay. That's cool. And 1 stress?
Yes, 1 stress.
No successes.
Okay. You glance around and you realize that for however long it's been, you have barely been paying attention to your surroundings at all. You, looking around, you can see what is immediately around you. In the distance, you can see mountains. Probably, you're surprised to see how close they are, considering. But you have no idea where you are. You have no landmarks, no reference points. As you are sitting there, Kit, you hear the sounds that have become very familiar to you over the last few months. The sounds of groaning and rasping as you look up and you see a group of the dead that are sort of shuffling down the street. You watch them as they draw up kind of level to you. A few of them kind of heads slung low, looking in your direction, but they don't seem to notice, and if they do, they don't care as they continue sort of sweeping by. You kind of sitting there watching them. Your instinct still being to run, to hide, to fight something, but your experience telling you that there's no need.
I'm gonna stay sitting on the floor of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna stare at them and watch them.
Yeah.
They go by.
As you're staring at them, you hear sort of jump a little bit as one of them that you didn't see hits the side of the van, sort of stumbles into it, and then just sort of turns and looks directly into the van to where you are sitting, and then just kind of slowly just turns away and continues walking. I think where we go from here is just sort of a montage of Kit over the next several months, just opening doors to buildings, getting inside, walking unbothered by the dead into empty gas stations, grocery stores that have been partially raided, grabbing supplies, whatever. And I feel like in a montage like this, there's always that one scene where there's just like thunderstorm pouring down rain while you're just sheltering in the van. And that one moment of lucidity gradually starts to slip away again as you go back into the fog of your new normal. We cut again about a year later, as Kit, you are sort of adjusting the cordage on your water catcher, on the rain catcher. When you hear from somewhere up the road the sound of a car alarm going off. As you look in that direction, there's a moment as you are looking, expecting to see someone, but there's a brief, tiny part of you that considers going to see, and then your instincts catch up with you, and you turn looking the other direction in time to see the dead pulling themselves out of their little nooks and crannies or turning onto the street. And you've seen this enough times to know what's going to happen next, and that there's enough here already that this is going to be a swarm situation.
I'm gonna back into the van, and I think I've gotten really good at slowly and quietly closing the door at this point.
Mm-hmm. Which is getting harder and harder as time goes on, as the door is getting it's starting to get a little old and kind of rusted and crusted up. But you manage it. And as you sit there, you begin to see the dead pass by, first in ones and twos, then groups of fives or more, and before long, the sound of them walking by you is thunderous. There are dozens and dozens of them that are going past you, mindlessly marching in the direction of the car alarm. All completely oblivious to your presence.
I'm gonna pull my knees up to my chest while I sit there, like, on the back seat. I'm gonna, like, fidget with my sleeve, and I start to mutter to myself a little bit, and then I catch myself, and I bite my lip, and I stay quiet.
As you sit there taking shelter, you feel the impacts as the swarm pushes one or another against the side of the van repeatedly as they sort of slam each other, the full press of their bodies impacting into the van. At several points you hear glass shatter as one of them actually manages to break through the glass. You can feel the van getting tossed around, and at one point you even feel it moving, being sort of pushed along with the throng of the dead.
I'm just watching, like, out the windshield as it's moving. I'm, like, sitting in the middle of the back seat.
Yeah. You slip once again into oblivion. And the next moment you remember is a shaft of sunlight, like perfectly deathly calm morning, peeking through one of the places where the van has been dented in from just impacts. You feel the kind of crunch under your shoulder of the broken glass from the window at where you laid on top of it at some point. You look around and you can see it's very clear that the Adventure Mobile has been battered to a point where it will no longer provide adequate shelter.
I'm gonna look around. Is the door, like, kind of stuck?
Yeah, it's a little bit kind of like you pull it open a few inches and then it slides open a few inches and then it gets stuck. As you can see the cause of it, where a lot of the outside of the van had been dented in and bent.
I'm gonna kind of get up on my feet on the seat and push up on the sunroof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See if I can slide that open.
Yeah, you can. It's not easy, but you're able to kind of, over time, just sort of like jiggling it, kind of to get it to move a little, inch by inch, and you finally get it open.
I'm going to crawl out the top and then just kind of sit on it with my legs still, like, inside.
Yeah, there is nothing around you. All in all, you've probably been moved about maybe 150 feet down the street. And around you, the only signs of the passage of the dead are those who fell and were trampled by their fellows, who are just motionless in the street. The rest of them long since moved on.
I'm going to sit up there for a little bit And then I think at some point I realized like, oh shit, what do I even have? And I'm gonna go back down into the van and start like looking through and digging through like whatever's left in there. I have not been keeping track of what I have and what I don't anymore.
As you're sort of digging through your stuff, you are sort of trying to keep track. You feel kind of more than see somebody kind of crouching down next to you, looking over your shoulder at the spread of things, and you hear Frankie's voice saying, "I don't know if you have enough to last."
Shut up. I'll be fine.
There's this little cluster of buildings right here on the map. Might be that there's something there you can scavenge.
I know. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna grab one of the random bags in the back and kind of sling it over my shoulder. I don't need you to take care of me. Fine.
There's silence for a moment, and then you just hear from behind you, you hear, "Why won't you look at me, Kit?"
I walk. I'm gonna crawl out the top of the van and kind of slide down the side and walk off in another direction. Anywhere else, just towards the buildings, I guess, just not there.
Okay. All right. Kit, you walk. And you walk. And you walk. Over the next several weeks, moving from place to place, never standing still. And just like over the course of the previous year, you don't make any special point to interact with the people that you find, but you also make no special attempt to avoid them. Sometimes, periodically, people come up to you and seeking you out, asking for your help, saying that they'd heard rumors of someone capable of getting places others couldn't. Sometimes offering you food, sometimes shelter, any number of things in trade. Every single time it ends the same way. As soon as the job is done, you're gone. On this particular day, Kit, you find yourself hiking kind of around the foothills of the Rockies. As you are kind of trekking down this old kind of broken highway, you can see distantly, some ways to the south of you, just barely on the horizon, the crush of buildings that indicate the outskirts of Denver. An area that you have not gone to, as even in your experience, you don't know if there are limits to your abilities to slip by unseen. Besides, who knows what else you might find in a place that was previously so populous. It's at this moment, as you're sort of looking in that direction, kind of remembering that moment, seeing in the gas station with Casey, seeing the one of them that spoke, the one in the pinstripe suit. And you just sort of feel this sort of shiver pass over you as you think back over it. And you turn away from the city, continuing on your path, when you hear shouting voices from up ahead of you. So, Danny, Steve, as let's do a quick little shift here. As ooh, what do we got here? Let's go with this one. Ro, you dash around a corner into kind of like in this kind of like rest stop area, running towards the bathroom as the crush of the dead starts kind of like, there's probably about 10 or so of them that are just sort of moving in towards the central location. And as you dash around the corner from this building, you almost run smack into Howard. As the two of you sort of looking, the dead sort of starting to move in. The only shelter that you have in the immediate vicinity is kind of like, you know how like rest stops have like the little like restrooms, like sort of, it's literally just the one single building and there's like restrooms. That's like the only shelter that you have in your immediate vicinity. As you move, you kind of glance over your shoulder, sort of like looking over as the first few of the dead start kind of coming into range of you, so what would you like to do?
So they almost ran into each other just now.
Basically, yeah.
Correct.
Like, it's, you have basically been like, you were making your way down the road, sort of stopping at this place. The dead started swarming, and you kind of got separated in this moment, and then just now have like practically run into each other almost.
Okay, I almost like run into the back of Howard and I'm like, what are you stopping? Dude, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And I'll like grab Howard by the arm and pull him along towards the shelter. And I'll give kind of a weird look to whoever this person is and say, come with us too, I guess, and keep running.
Yeah. Kit, you've just sort of stumbled on this scene as you see this rest stop here, these two people that are running from the crush of the dead. They appear to have been taken fully by surprise by the dead here.
So this, what is it called? Is it a restroom, you said?
It's like, yeah, the whole area is a rest stop, and basically the shelter that you have is just, it's one of those bare bones rest stops where there's not much other than like just the restrooms.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess we just run towards it.
All right.
Yeah, Howard will look back at this other person who's there and said, I don't know who you are, but if you're coming, you're coming. And he will no longer get pulled. But will be moving along with them.
Are there like vending machines somewhere around?
Yeah, I'd say there probably are.
Okay. I'm gonna look around real quick and see if I see like a rock or something, because my goal is to chuck something into the glass to make noise elsewhere.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say you can find a rock pretty easily that you can do that, so.
Cool.
All right.
I'm gonna pick it up and throw it.
All right, go ahead. I think, weirdly, I think this is going to end up being a ranged combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And one stress.
Yep, one stress.
Okay. So I need you to help me resolve this
Sure.
because I have 2 successes and also a 1 on my stress die.
Okay, great. So, so basically, here's how this goes. You reach down, you pick up the rock, and you throw it at the vending machines, causing the glass in front to just shatter inward into the vending machine, and just I will say additionally, there's also like some of the contents of it starts like spilling out as well, that because it was just sort of piled up against the glass and now is like falling out and just making all kinds of noise as it just tumbles out onto the pavement. However, Kit, this whatever thing allows you to sort of slip by the dead without their notice, it seems to in fact have its limitations, as this sudden sort of cacophony that you've created draws some of their attention, as the group pretty much just splits basically as some of them continue pursuing the others who are running to the bathroom, and the other half kind of coming after you or going towards the vending machine. But what I will say is that Kit, as a result of this messing up, you will suffer a walker attack from the, Anyway, so I need you to make, as one of them lunges for you, go ahead and give me any role you think is relevant here.
So my instinct is to hide, so I want to find a place to like move out of the way and like hide around a corner or something.
Okay, I'd say give me mobility then. A mobility roll.
Okay. That's not my worst. Okay, that's 2 successes.
Okay.
No, 3 successes.
Hell yeah. Okay, perfect. So
for mobility, so
as the one lunges towards you, just reflexively you reach down and grabbing your hammer and just as, like just sort of spiking it through the forehead as it just drops to the ground, and you turn right into another one, and just without even thinking, another one, you strike it down. You see as they sort of are starting to close around you, kind of your avenue of retreat, and you realize in that moment that you're kind of cut off, and there's only one direction for you to go at this point, and that is towards the other two. As you sort of cursing, you turn and just start running in that direction after the other two. You reach, I'm gonna say, Kit, that you reach the restroom door right as Howard is starting to pull it closed, and with the dead just right on your heels.
I'm gonna like dive in and help him pull it closed.
Okay, yeah. I think bathroom doors typically open in, which is good for you because you just sort of throw your weight against it as you sort of start feeling the like impacts from the other side. You can hold this for a little bit, but unless you do something soon, eventually there's more of them than there are of you, and just sheer body weight alone, that door is opening. What would you like to do, any of you?
Howard's gonna just take a look at around the room. Ro, check some of the ceilings. If it's got this crap drop ceiling in there, they usually didn't. These kind of buildings, they didn't bother separating any of the rooms from the other side. So push up if there's some drop ceilings or something like that. We might be able to crawl up into the rafters and get into the building proper.
Okay. And then I'll go around and I'll try to like get up on top of whatever there is to climb up on. If there's stalls, I'll like jump on the top of a toilet, up on the stalls, and start pushing up and see if I can.
Sounds good. I think I'm gonna have you make a scout roll for me.
Okay. Fantastic.
And you all have 1 point of stress now because you're being attacked by the dead. So, add a stress die to it. Danny.
Yes, this is great. I have 1 success, but then I have 2. What is it? The walkers.
But is it on the stress die?
Oh, one of them is on the stress die, yes.
So the one that's not doesn't matter, but the one on oh boy. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So
Good to know.
here's basically how I think this goes. As you like push up, you find one that is like loose, and you push up on it, and as you do, you feel something grab your hand, like your arm, from inside as you look up, and there is one of the dead, clearly, very obviously, like dressed in like. He's dressed in like hunting gear. He clearly had the same idea, climbed up there and didn't make it. It's just so go ahead and give me a roll, any roll you think is relevant here.
Okay. Let's see here. This feels like I'm trying to escape something, so mobility.
That sounds good to me.
Okay,
Go ahead and give me a mobility roll.
with 1 stress. And I have, all right. So that is a fail. Yeah, just a fail.
Okay. So the way that I'm gonna rule this is basically that as like you try to get away, you actually end up pulling it with you, and it kind of comes out of the ceiling, and you both topple down. He doesn't land on top of you, but you both land on the floor, just sort of like as you sort of are still like struggling to kind of kick it away, and it's trying to like grab at you.
Okay.
Yeah, Howard has to abandon the door at this point. Shit, girl, people have been following you since high school. You can't stop that for 1 damn minute. He runs over and he's gonna try to punch the zombie in the face.
All right, go ahead and give me a close combat roll.
Oh, this is our jam. 5.
Yeah, it is.
Oh boy, this is 10 plus my stress die.
Hell yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes, and one of those is a success on the stress die.
Oh, holy shit. Okay. Wow. All right. So literally, like you run in, you grab the collar of the one on the floor, and you try to drag it away from Ro, and just stomp down just quickly, decisively, and it goes still. As you.
If I could, to improve upon the success, is I have a toolbox in my gear. If I can just consider that as just like one of those really long screwdrivers, and toss that over to our new friend to help her try to jam up the door while I move away.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You just sort of in like a fluid motion, just kind of like reach into the toolbox at your side and just kind of toss it over. You holding this thing, you realize there's no way that this is a permanent solution, but now you have a way out, and then you only need it to hold for a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm gonna look between the screwdriver and my hammer, and I'm gonna look at like the frame of the door. And is it like a wood frame or a metal frame?
It's a metal frame.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna look at the screwdriver. I'm gonna look at my hammer, and I'm just gonna shrug. I'm just gonna start like whacking it with my hammer and try to like fuck up the metal as much as possible to like keep it.
Yeah. I think go ahead and I think this is honestly, I feel like this is gonna be a force roll. This feels like a force roll.
Okay. That's not super great, but sure.
But you have, I'm sorry, add 1 because you have the gear bonus.
I will tell you that was 1 success already.
Okay.
It's still just 1 success.
Okay, cool. So you managed to like take this metal frame. It's not like the most well attached to, like you can easily kind of get like the hammer underneath it and like pull away and kind of bend it so that it's not going to hold for more than like a minute at most, but that should be enough for you guys to be able to like get yourselves to safety. All right.
I'm like on the floor like after seeing its head get like smashed in, and I scramble up, and I'm gonna say, well, good news, and point up to the part in the ceiling that we found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Start trying to
let's
find
go.
Okay.
Then he's gonna push. Well, he's gonna go up first now because he's not sure what else is gonna be in there. So then he's gonna pull up Ro after and look at our friend and been like, "You've been with us for this long. Might as well keep on going."
Can I just glance over the dead hunter on my way over to the hole in the ceiling? If he's in hunting gear, I just want to see if he has anything useful.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and give me a real quick. I think this is a survival roll. Yeah, survival.
At least one of us is smart. Loot the body. Always loot the body.
1 success.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. This is. I didn't expect you guys to get to scavenging so quickly.
You said hunting gear, and I ran with
No,
it.
that's fair. That's 100% on me. Go ahead and give me 666, Allison.
Okay. That is a 6, a 2, and a 2.
Okay. 622. Okay. So you actually find on him you find some like it looks like it's like salted, like preserved fish on him and like just sort of like wrapped in some cloth. It still looks to be okay. That's you got 2 rations there, so
Okay.
and just for good measure, I'm gonna do this as well. You also find where is that? Actually, you find a knife.
Hells
Like a
to the
little
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like a fixed blade kind of hunting
Like
knife.
hunting knife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of grab it and just sort of scramble up, kind of reaching up for Howard's hand, and you pull up. Um, okay, just for fun, because I think it would be interesting. I like that while you're sort of scavenging, the door bursts open, and the dead begin to push inside, and just a little too late, Kit. You managed to scramble past them. Howard, I want you to give me. I think I want you to give me just a straight wits.
No successes.
Okay, cool. Howard, you don't notice then as you because as the dead push inside just a little, and Kit moves just a little too late. You don't notice as the dead just sort of swarm around her, and don't even try to reach out to grab her. Kit, you push away from them as you rush over to the toilet and start kind of climbing up, pushing yourself up on the stall, reaching up, and Howard pulls you up into the ceiling for a moment. And for the time being, trapped though you might be, you are all safe.
Oh boy. Thanks for that, Howard. I'm like collapsed and like laying on my back, trying to catch my breath.
Yeah. What you're laying on right now is basically you see a series of just mismatched wood scraps that have been laid out across the ceiling joists to create a sort of makeshift platform, where you actually see like opened cans and just so that have been just sort of stacked, and just the evidence that whoever that guy was, he was living up here for a while. It wasn't just sort of like a happenstance, like just happened to like get trapped up here. He was living up here for a while.
Oh wow.
Place is homey. All right. Anyway,
Smells great.
and he looks over to Kit. What thanks for the help. What's your name?
Chess.
Like the game.
Yeah.
You weren't named that, were you? Interesting.
It'd be short for like Chelsea,
Chester.
Cesare. Yeah.
That's yeah. Anyways, I'm Ro. I'll stand. I'll kind of sit up and give my
Like
hand
fish
up for a
eggs?
handshake. I see you
See
there.
how it feels? Yeah.
And I'll offer my hand for a handshake.
My name's Howard. I'm
Look
glad
at it.
everyone's friendly. Yep. Okay. Yep. Let's get moving. Let's. Howard's
Where
going
we
to try
headed?
to scoot, try to look for anything that's into the actual part of the gas station, and so he's going to try to kind of skinny across, these pieces of plywood and see if there's an exit out the other side.
Yeah, you kind of like army crawl along because as it like in certain places the actual roof gets a little close, and just at a quick glance, you can tell that some of it is sagging from water damage. But so you kind of have to crawl under some of it. But yeah, you kind of scoot along, and you look over. You find basically the place where there is an actual wall, kind of in between the ceiling joists. As you kind of pull yourself over, you reach down to kind of pull one of the panels up, and just a quick glance down shows you, not because it's not like a gas station per se, but there is like the layout of this place is that it's just restroom facilities, but they are separate from each other, connected by an overhang that is open to the outside. And what you've basically pulled up is like down into the overhang in between the restrooms, which
Okay.
is mercifully free of the dead at the moment, although you can hear them close by.
I'll just kind of whisper back to see what I find. Do we want to keep looking, or do we want to try to crawl down in here?
Let's take a quick look. Yeah, might as well.
Right.
Um,
Howard's going to kind of try to stick his head down and see if he sees anything.
Okay. Looking down, you actually just catch like the last of the dead going into the bathroom, and you see the door sort of swing closed behind them. And given that the dead are much more likely to push against a thing than pull against it, they've probably basically trapped themselves in there.
That's good news. All right. Howard's going to let himself down and then take a look around.
Okay. Go ahead and real quick give me just a. I think this will just be a strength, just straight up. Uh. Yeah.
is this
just-
to like get down?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this is just gonna be a strength.
I don't know how to help with that.
That is 2 successes.
Cool. Perfect. So yeah, you sort of lower yourself down and then just kind of drop the last 3 feet or so. As you land, you kind of look around. You don't see any of the dead in the immediate vicinity. However, you do notice now that not all of them went into the bathroom. A couple of them are still sort of swarming around. Like there's like 2 of them that are still just in the walking in the contents of the spilled vending machine.
Okay. Can I find anything to put under the ceiling so no one has that much of a difficulty getting down?
There would be some picnic tables nearby, but they're a little heavy and you'd
Okay.
have to drag them over, and it would definitely make noise to do so.
I'll motion at Howard like a boost kind of thing, and I'm like, can you just catch my foot as I come down? Okay. And I'll like get onto my belly, shimmy slightly down, and like lower myself, trying to put weight into like a right foot so that Howard can catch it and kind of like lower me down with
Yeah.
some resistance.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make you roll for this one. As like basically you're just kind of working together here, and yeah, you're Howard's able to lower you down to kind of the concrete pad underneath this overhang. And Kit,
I'm gonna. How far down is it?
it's probably about a total of like. It's probably around. Probably about like a 9-10 foot height.
I'm gonna lower myself down so I'm like hanging off of it, like just hanging off the ledge and just drop down.
Okay. I'm just gonna give me a quick mobility, just a quick mobility, just to...
That's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid. That's I deserve that. Okay. It's still 1 stress or am I at
Yeah,
2?
still at 1 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dice and no successes. So.
Okay. So you drop and you land hard, and Yeah, I'd say you land and just like twist your ankle, but you were able to kind of like muffle the sort of like the cry that escapes you involuntarily. You were able to muffle it, and you hear the dead just sort of react, but like they don't move in your direction.
Howard's going to go right over and make sure that they're okay, but they'll also lean down and say, listen, as someone who's gone solo a lot of places for a lot of my life, I understand what you're doing, but you doing it may be getting us busted. Cut it out. And he offers a hand to help them up.
I'll take it. And as I get up, I'm gonna lean in next to his ear. We gotta talk a little quieter around these things.
You want
And then
some
I'm just gonna
Advil.
let go and keep walking.
I think
And
I watched
go ahead.
this exchange like slightly from a distance because I'm like scoping out where we should go next, like
Mhm.
what kind of corner. So I don't hear anything, and I'll wave Howard and uh, Chess over to wherever looks best.
Okay. You're able to kind of like move kind of around the back of because basically this is a thing that's like sitting on just sort of a little plot that is completely like surrounded in like a U shape by parking lot. You're able to kind of go out the other side towards the other end of the parking lot and start kind of making your way back out towards the road without really interacting with these things, with the ones that are left at all. Um, as you are going in that direction, you do see it doesn't take a whole lot of investigation to see where they came from, because it seemed like they kind of came out at you out of nowhere. But you can see an old, not like a not like a tour bus, but like basically like almost like a Greyhound kind of style bus, where the door is like still hanging off of it, just kind of like still swinging, uh, and even from this distance, the smell coming from it, they must have just been all piled in there. Um, yeah.
Smells foul. Um, should we? Where should we go? Where are we heading off? Back into the woods.
And he'll kind of pointedly try to whisper, we are heading to this medical facility. We got to get in there to save a buddy of ours. Now, if you want to come, you look like you've been doing this for a while. We'd be happy to have you. But they got stuck in there, and me and Ro are the only people that are willing to get him out. So he's a good buddy of ours. He was some kind of virologist, or I don't know what the big. He had a lot of letters after his name, and what he did was way above my pay grade, which is nothing. Um, but we need him to help Rose's sister. Okay, I mean, so if you want to come, you know. But if you don't got to. This is the part where
He's
you
alone.
agree to come with us or not agree to come with us.
He's alone.
Well, yeah, originally it was just me and him, and we got separated. We're going in there for some supplies, and we got separated, and he got cordoned off on one of the floors, as far as I know, and I got chased out the building. And if I didn't come back and get help, then I'd have been taking a dirt nap and then wandering around with the rest of
Yeah, I mean, we're just really lucky that you were just able to survive and get away to get help.
And
Okay.
Howard looks uncomfortable,
Sure.
but just doesn't say anything.
Sure.
You'll come with us?
Okay. All right. Cool. Last I know, it's this way. And Howard, I think, has a pretty decent understanding of where the facility was.
Yeah. What I'm gonna say is actually first, Ro. I'm actually gonna need something from Ro real quick, and that is, I think I'm gonna need just a straight up just wits.
Yeah. Okay. And we had the stress
I'm gonna
die.
say actually at this point I'd say that this qualifies as like an interaction. So I'd say the two of you can clear your stress.
Oh, okay. Well, that's 2 successes for me then.
Okay, so now that you're out of the immediate danger and like adrenaline has started to like sort of drain from your system a little bit, you're thinking a little bit more clearly, and you realize that this person, this chess person, is familiar, though you've never seen her before. But at least by description, you've heard of an individual that others have referred to as the Stray, somebody who they've gone to when they needed somebody to get them somewhere or get something from somewhere that other people couldn't.
Where are you headed off to?
Wherever's next.
Just kind of hoofing it alone?
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult? I don't know. I've always had my sister, so we've been able to rely on each other, all that. Yeah, are you... Have I heard of you before?
How would I know that?
I don't know, you seem like you match this description of somebody. I already forgot what it was. It's the... Or the stranger?
The Stray.
Right.
The Stray, okay. The Stray. They kind of sounded like they matched your description.
I think I look. There's a moment where I'm genuinely curious about somebody having heard my description and someone looking for me. And then my face falls a little and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, well, nice to meet you. And cool name. I wasn't trying to be like condescending or anything, so sorry about that.
You're fine.
Stress the moment. Yeah.
Fine.
Also, though, really good comeback. Loved it. Really good wits. I love that about. Howard, I forget what direction the hospital is in. I think we need to have a little more, what's the word? Haste? We need to be a little faster about this. I'm getting a bad feeling.
All right. I think it's up, and he kind of points in the direction he thinks it is, and I think it's, and then we gotta take a left down there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
You see Kit as Howard points kind of in the direction you were just coming from, sort of towards the outskirts of the Denver area.
Oh, and Howard, part of his gear is stash of drugs and medicine. I'm guessing it's just some stuff that's just like some different pills he's be able to pick up. Like it's mostly Tylenol, that kind of stuff. There's probably some more pharmaceutical grade drugs for getting high, that kind of thing in there. Nothing like super legitimate or great, but he does pull out of his pocket and walks over to Chess and is like, hey, listen, if you busted up your ankle, this is at least some it's just 800 milligram, those big doctor pills of ibuprofen. If these can help, you're welcome to have them.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Let me ask
And he kind of turns off and moves away.
Let me ask a question at this point, which now that you are, I think it's the more appropriate time to ask the question, which is, would you guys mind describing your characters?
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Howard, do you want to go first?
Yeah. Howard Hooper is he's late 20s. Looks to be like about late 20s. Short, dark hair. Tries to keep it cut back, but it is what it is. He is in jeans, kind of just a pair of just normal shoes, kind of like more like work boots, but kind of whatever he could find. And then one of those, kind of like one of those thicker flannel coats, just t-shirt underneath. He's got kind of a backpack that he has, mostly just a simple kind of, it's a little bit nicer, but it's like a leather backpack, so that can kind of keep the rain out. He's got his tools, kind of rolled up in there, and then he has a shotgun that he has kind of holstered over his shoulder, just strapped over his shoulder. He's thinner, fairly tall, almost 6 foot, but you can see that he's still pretty thin, but he's got that corded kind of muscle. He's extremely strong, but he just has where the veins are coming out, and you can just see the corded muscle in there, but he doesn't have a lot of bulk to him.
Okay. And Ro?
Ro stands before you. She's about 5'5", has like this bearing about her though that seems like she's almost taller the way she stands. She's wearing like a tan trench coat that ends about mid calf, and the outfit underneath is a pretty standard pair of like jeans, and then a t-shirt with like a sort of almost like a vest. You can't really tell what it is, but then actually you get a closer look as she moves, and you can see that it's some sort of like dress coat, and it has like a little emblem on the side, and dark hair, dark eyes. I believe that is it.
Okay.
Before my pronouns, I didn't do it at the beginning. My pronouns are he, him, and Howard's are he, him also.
And then just for everybody's sake here, Allison, would you describe Chess?
Yeah, she's about the same height as Ro, but if Ro is standing in a way that like makes her seem taller, I'm standing in a way that makes me seem smaller. Frayed jeans that are like weirdly tucked into her boots at the bottom. Her socks are pulled up over the bottoms of the jeans, and her boots are like laced up, very beat up Doc Martens. Her jeans have like rips in the knees. Looks like there was like some weird stitching around one of them, where like different colored thread. T-shirt, frayed old flannel, looks very like threadbare at this point. Underneath like a big thicker jacket, kind of like a, not quite an army jacket, but that kind of vibe. More of a dark gray. Her hair's dark. Her bangs look like she kind of cut them herself. And it's grown out, and at the very bottom you can see that it used to be bleached, like blonde.
Alright. So as you have kind of taken this moment to collect yourselves a little bit, you begin moving off back down the road, kind of the direction that you were sort of coming from, Kit. But after a few minutes, you find kind of an intersection, or just basically like a junction in the highway that you had intentionally avoided going down, that now you find yourselves turning towards. So I actually think that right now might be a good moment to take our break. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go to our break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. So yeah, hold on. Where is it? Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be right back very soon. welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody got a chance to get some water, stretch a little bit, do whatever you gotta do. No? Okay. Well,
Mm-mm.
okay. All right, Allison. Um, well, when we left off, our newly formed group decided that they were going to team up and finish the task that Roe and Howard set out for themselves to rescue a companion of theirs who was left stranded in a hospital on a supply run, and now is the only person who can help Roe's sister back at their encampment. So, we will pick up a little bit after we left off, as you guys have been on the road for a little while. The buildings of the Denver outskirts are sort of slowly looming as as you move on, and the sun begins to sort of creep towards the horizon. I'm going to go ahead and say, for the purposes of this, we're going to get us started here with some... I'm going to need a scout roll from somebody.
I
Sure.
believe.
Oh,
I'm okay at that ish.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
that's good.
Not amazing, but not the worst. And that's 3 successes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
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 Nice.
Okay.
One of them is on my stress type, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, perfect. Wow.
I'll take it.
I think this is the most... I was just saying to Steve, like, this is the most successes rolled I think I've ever seen while running this game. Like, the most consecutive, like... This is incredible. Okay.
Yes, but we're also having interesting things happen, which balances it out.
Absolutely, yes. So, here's what I think, how I'm going to run this, is, Kit, as you are moving ahead, you, as you've been wandering on your own, have become hyper aware of, without anybody to watch your back, you've become hyper aware of changes in your environment as you travel. And so as you're kind of moving ahead, you're able to notice things a little sooner than the other two that maybe wouldn't have been a threat, but could just as easily have been one without knowing about it. But you notice little pockets of the dead that kind of trapped under things that, given the motivation of a fresh meal, they might no longer have been trapped under long before they notice you, and are able to kind of steer the others around at various points, making sure before moving on, taking the high ground and just surveying an area and noticing little knots of them that are sort of sweeping across the countryside as well, that you're able to kind of tell your companions to kind of hang back for a moment and just wait for them to pass and proceed. And before long, you find yourselves basically just walking down roads that are like highways that are gradually starting to at first you pass one abandoned car and then another, and gradually you start seeing them kind of filling up with the traffic block that must have been an attempted evacuation from the Denver area, which, given the presence of these vehicles here, you can pretty well guess how that went. As you are walking through this stationary traffic jam, you are seeing evidence of the carnage that must have been this attempted escape, as you're seeing old, long since decomposed skeletons, now indistinguishable, the living now indistinguishable from the dead. You can see suitcases that were dropped, that fell open, spilling their contents all over the road, that now have thick layers of dust and grime over them. You can see places where vehicles attempting to break the deadlock of traffic instead found themselves smashed against other vehicles attempting to do the same, or just high centered on the side of the highway and sort of stuck and unable to get out. And you can see still other places where vehicles were fully just turned over, probably by the press of the dead. It is a bizarre thing to see, seeing such a chaotic aftermath in such a completely still moment. It is a scene that kind of catches you all to the point where you all kind of find yourself just sort of stopping and staring at it for a moment, unsure of exactly what your feelings are in this moment. I would say that, Ro, you're the first one to kind of recover as you sort of like catch yourself and look around and notice that it is starting to get a little dark.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to find some shelter for the night, or a safer way through to be able to see more, because we're not gonna be able to navigate this one.
You're a little quiet, Danny.
Oh, I was saying, maybe we should find a place to, stay for the night, get secure, or find a better way to travel. Either way.
I think I'm already like scanning over all the vehicles that are kind of piled up to see if there's anything bigger, like a van or like a truck that like the back opens up or something that we could kind of take shelter in.
I think I'm gonna let you ride that that third success from your scout roll here, Kit. As you sort of like glance around, you actually do see just a, you see basically like what was once probably like a moving truck, that is not too far away from your location. And as you walk over to it, you can see that there was at one point a padlock on it, which you can see the remains of, sort of broken on the pavement, or on the asphalt of the highway. And as you kind of lift up the rear panel door, you look inside. It is empty, except you can see where there's like, not so much furniture, but there are basically just like boxes of people's personal effects that look like, just at a quick glance, there's no way that this all belonged to one person or one group of people. And you kind of get, looking at this, that whatever happened here, whoever was driving this truck, it seems like they were transporting multiple families or groups, whose stuff ended up having to be abandoned anyway. You can also see where stuff has been tossed around since then, where from people scavenging, trying to find stuff. But you kind of open it, and the first thing you do, you just kind of take a quick sniff on the inside, and it smells musty but clean.
Home sweet home.
Nice find. Howard's going to kind of jump in first and give it a once over, kind of like a just quick walk through to make sure there's nothing creeping around in here.
Yeah, you do kind of a similar thing. Like, it's not really expecting to find anything, as the smell would be the biggest first indicator. And yeah, looking around, you don't see signs of anything except for maybe some small critter that made a little nest in the corner, but no evidence of it still being here. Danny, what were you saying? Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna follow along similar with what Howard's doing. I think just double checking under anything to make sure there's not any surprises in here.
I'm actually going to say, as Ro is sort of like looking under things and sort of moving some stuff to make sure that there's no hidden surprises, you're actually able to find something that the scavengers missed. And you basically find like a couple of cans unopened One of them is of baked beans, and another is like the canned pineapples.
Yes.
We're feasting tonight. um, and I'll just set that out in a central place.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, you kind of set up your makeshift camp here. This is kind of one of those trucks, I think, that it was kind of man, I'm trying to remember like what they're used for, but they're basically like they basically are shaped kind of similar to like moving trucks, but they are open to the cab, like the back is open to the cab. And I forget what they're used for typically, but like so you actually do have access to the cab of the truck as well. Yeah, so this so you can basically, meaning that you can kind of fully close the back and for security, but you also have a little bit of like you're not gonna like you have ventilation basically.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And still have an escape route if needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a little disconcerting as you sort of take a quick look in the cab that there is another fully decomposed skeleton in the driver's seat, still seat belted in and everything. You can see also like the old kind of rusty brown stains all down what's left of the window, the driver's side window. But it's a site that is sadly becoming less and less noteworthy within this this new environment that you all find yourselves in.
I think with the presence of that dead body there, I'll take like one of the doors and like kind of crack it open and just kind of like get the airflow going a little bit because it's a little musty, little baked, little just gross. Get the rest of that out as we can.
Is the glove compartment closed?
The glove compartment is open. You can see that like there's like papers and stuff scattered from the inside. Yeah, even like some of the it's one of like the older trucks that has like the fuse box in the glove located in the glove compartment. You can see that's all been pulled out. Like everything has just been kind of stripped down.
Yeah. Can Howard check under the seats and see if there's anything under the seats?
Yeah, give me a survival roll.
No successes.
Okay. Yeah, you search under the seats, hoping to find anything that might have been missed by scavengers, and you're just kind of coming up empty. What's up, Allison?
Right. I think while they're kind of up there looking around, I'm still kind of standing in the back, and I just kind of say, "Any CDs?"
Shit. Let me look.
Yeah. I'm going to say that, in the scattered contents from the glove box that's just sort of like laying around, you do find you actually find a mix of like CDs. There are even some like cassette tapes that look real dusty. Like the plastic cases of them are like so fogged up that they're just old. The cassette tapes are like they're things like John Denver and some like other things like that, similar kind of like folk kind of vibe sort of stuff. CDs wise, oh man, I'm trying to
give me some old lady piece or some Blink 182 like original, just random, just punk stuff, original Green Day.
What a drastically different vibe. That's very good.
Yeah, John Denver and Blink 182.
Excellent. Yes, that's canon now.
The two genders.
But yeah, Howard will hand them back. Yeah, Howard will definitely hand those back. Said, "Yeah, you are apparently the only one that's going to win any prizes today."
I would like to kind of go around and start making like a little place for us to be comfortable for the night. So like taking different like discarded pieces of clothing or like whatever that nobody cared about, and just kind of make a little nest in the area. And as I'm doing so, I'll just be like, "So, Chess, Um, what got you that name? You know, the Stray. What's that all about?
Well, that's it was a stupid joke a long time ago, and that's what people call critters that don't belong anywhere. So
What makes you not belong?
You have to forgive my friend here. She's belonged every place she's been, even in the apocalypse.
I guess so you're popular then.
I wouldn't say
Cheerleader?
popular. No. I was a ASB president though.
Close enough.
I mean, yeah, nobody really cares about that though. Nobody like is like, oh my god, there's the president. It's
Yeah.
not that big a deal. People are like way too connected to like their identities in like high school anyways. I mean, it's not like we gotta finish it, but still, that's what it seems like. Were you
I
the
didn't
loner?
finish either. In high school?
Yeah.
I tried to be.
Hmm.
Didn't
Somebody
work.
pulled you out of that shell.
I didn't finish high school either.
Yeah. Kind of sucks that we didn't get to have like prom and stuff. I mean, I know it's really silly in the grand scheme of all things. You know, who cares about prom when you're just trying to survive a zombie apocalypse? But it just doesn't seem fair. This whole thing doesn't seem fair.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Howard will take out a flask out of his side pocket and take the take the cap off and take a drink out of it. Well, I finished high school, and
Tell us about it.
no,
Why
it
not?
oh God, kid,
We need to live vicariously through you.
I was in and out of detention through a good portion of high school as it is. So when you finish your high school years in detention or prior to it, there isn't really a prom. There isn't really tuxes and all that kinds of stuff. The only decent places I went were with Sensei Orman at the dojo anyway. And then run into you and your sister, and it's all
It was a great
it's
place.
all just jumping between one pile of hot garbage to the next, whether pre-zombie apocalypse or post-zombie apocalypse. The best you get is sometimes sitting around sharing a flask or something, or a meal with some friends, working out and not dying. So the only difference is between zombie apocalypse and pre-zombie apocalypse is there wasn't a bunch of dead bodies trying to eat. But prior to the
Yeah.
zombie apocalypse, you're still scavenging for stuff. You're still trying to make your way. Hell, hanging out with you and your sister are some of the better times I've had, and the fucking world ended. And he hands, I try this most times, bro, and he hands the flask over to see if she'll take some.
Okay, fine.
This isn't the good one. And he'll hand some to Chess as well.
I'll take it. Take a sip.
It is pretty near bottom shelf whiskey. It's not mid shelf. Like it is what it is.
So you guys
Sorry to
like,
ruin your
knew each other.
missing prom mood, but yeah. Sorry.
No.
What was that Chess said? I missed that part.
So you guys like knew each other like before.
Yeah, we the dojo that he was talking about. I took some classes there, with my sister. And that's kind of how we met.
Yeah, they took some classes there, and then they happened to be near it when all the alarms started going off, and people started sheltering in. So I was basically living there at that point anyway. So I had a decent amount of stash there. We didn't see the sensei after a day or two. I think he went to go help people, which is his deal anyway. So yeah, we shut up in there for a good couple days at least. Um, Anyone that tried getting in or something like that came to a pretty swift end. That was before they started getting up and walking on their own.
Yeah.
Before, once it was, I would say the beginning of the apocalypse, you could make the noise, you could, then you pass the shotgun and get through most of the stuff. And I find it more annoying now that you're damn quiet all the time. When you could actually make noise, that was a bit more entertaining.
Yeah. I think those are the scariest times, really, because things just got so loud. There were sirens everywhere, and then just one day silence.
Yeah.
Don't miss the sirens, though.
No.
Wow. Zombie apocalypses are so depressing. Let's make some dinner. Got a can of beans, pineapple. We're
Hunter
not
guy
gonna
had
make
some salty fish.
Ooh, some fish to go with the beans. It's
Look
perfect.
at that. We got all our food groups: booze, protein, beans, and fruit. Make that pyramid.
I will prepare the dinner and kind of settle in.
Chaz, there's a brief moment where some familiar feelings start kind of coming over you. Feelings that once were kind of comforting, having this kind of give and take, this kind of conversation around meal. But before you're able to really fully grasp those feelings, the panic starts to set in. I actually think at this point, Allison, I'm gonna have you roll to handle your fear.
Okay.
You can do, I think, if I remember correctly, it is just a wits or empathy roll. You do not add stress dice to this.
Just straight one
Yep.
of those though.
Mhm.
Just that amount of dice.
Yep.
I'm gonna go wits.
Mhm.
Big surprise, my empathy is not great. That's one success.
Okay.
Ooh.
So 1, a 3, and a 6.
As you feel that panic swell up to starting to like overwhelm you, you almost see your vision start to go dark around the edges as you feel that warm sensation in your face and the numbness that follows afterwards, and then that door in your mind just closes like it's done many times before. You just shut it all off.
I'm gonna step outside. Make sure it's still quiet.
Yeah. Do you need any of us to check out for anything? No.
No, I'm gonna grab the fish out of my bag and kind of toss it towards you guys. Use one of those.
Stay safe.
I'm gonna slip out the back, I think.
As you step outside and kind of like you close the door behind you, you turn kind of towards the setting sun, kind of like looking as it's disappearing over the mountains. And a ways away off the highway, standing in the middle of the kind of like rolling, sort of scrubby hills. You can't see him clearly, but you know it's him. As you see Frankie standing in the field, just looking towards you, and you can't see his face. He's too far away, but you know he's looking at you.
I'm gonna reach in my bag. Pull out. Some beat up walkie-talkie with a broken antenna. Leave me alone.
You can't keep running like this, kid.
I'm fine. Leave me alone.
There's no answer that comes to that, and when you look up, he's not there.
I'm gonna sit there just holding it for a while.
Okay. As the evening overtakes you, eventually, Kit, you don't even today, you don't fully remember, but at some point you found yourself back inside the truck and curled up in the sort of makeshift nest that Ro made. Is there anything, Ro and Howard, that you would want to do before the evening comes to an end while Kit is outside? Oh, Steve, are you muted?
Sorry. Yep. Of course I was. And then I cleared my throat while I was unmuted like a professional. So that's what one does here on Rule of Lore.
Professional, what's that? I've never heard of that.
That's all we are here. Howard will, while he's not eating as much of dinner, he's purposely not eating a lot of the dinner. He will, if he does take bites, they're much smaller bites, making sure that Ro and then Chess, when they come in, have enough there. But they do drink more of that flask. And kind of, they've gotten good at it at this point where it looks like they're taking small sips, but it's actually quite a bit of it. Probably when Chess comes back in, if he thinks Ro is sleeping but doesn't know when Chess is coming back in, he's slowly and extremely carefully filling it back up with one bottle, and then carefully wrapping that bottle up and putting it in a very specific spot of their bag, and then, capping the flask. If they see Chess walk in, they will offer the flask up again if they want some. But if they see that blank stare that they've seen from a lot of survivors, they know that they're probably not paying attention. If there's any kind of like chair or something kind of comfortable, he'll kind of scoot that near the door itself and probably end up sleeping there more than the nice nest that Ro has made just to be near one of the entrance points.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll have just made sure to have set aside the food that we did save for Chess, and kind of put it like where it would be visible entering the vehicle, and I'll just curl up and go to sleep.
Okay. Howard, while you're sort of alone, while Ro is sleeping and Chess is outside, after you've had a little bit to drink, you start to hear the sounds again of the dead pressing in around you, coming from all sides, echoing through the hospital hallways. You sort of flash through. You hear the sound of your companion's voice calling down the hallways, saying, "I'm up here! I'm up here! Oh God, they're coming!" And then the sound of the throng of the dead sort of cutting off suddenly as you burst through the door and it closes behind you. You're sort of yeah.
He's fully in it and is trying to stop the hand shaking and the body shaking by drinking a little bit more, and then realizing that the ibuprofen that he gave Chess was for his possible hangover in the morning, and is just trying to. He's been trying for these last day or two not to tell. He's been trying to tell Ro and not to tell Ro that he was poking around the hospital looking for booze and whatever else he could find in the administration offices. That's what he was doing. He let the professional do professional stuff, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there when the shit went down, and he can't say that he would have gotten them both out, but he sure as hell wasn't doing what he was supposed to. He was on autopilot. Anytime you go out on a scavenging run, you go poke around, find the booze, you put it in your bag, and you trade it. You trade the decent stuff or the really good stuff to get stuff for the two of Ro and their sister and Howard, but you keep the rest in your bag. But you got to make sure that they're okay, and that means sometimes paying some people off with booze. But yeah, he's been twitchy about it ever since it happened. But it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna go, and we just got to get back in there, and we have a professional. I mean, we have literally, the person has a nickname. I mean, they have a name. I mean, that will be fine. You know, we just got to get in, and we'll get this cleaned up, just like I've cleaned up all the rest of the stuff. It'll be fine.
And that's kind of the loop that you were in when you finally fell asleep. So we will cut to the next day as you've already sort of set off and are once again sort of wending your way through the multitude of cars that are just getting thicker and thicker as you continue moving in towards the outskirts of the city. Before long, I'd say it's probably by the time you hit around mid-afternoon of traveling, you reach a point where you could either proceed on the freeway into the city, or you can kind of break off and go through the suburbs. And as you kind of like look, you can see the kind of this sort of static, perpetual traffic jam that just kind of continues on along the freeway, and going on into the city for who knows how far.
Listen, which way is going to be faster? Because, I mean, this has already taken one day more than we thought it would. Candace is probably not doing well right now. So, what do we think? Which one's going to be faster?
My personal guess is to stay on the highway here. I think most scavengers have already picked this place over, and most of the bodies we've seen have all been, decayed at this point. I don't think there's much else down here, but I'll I mean, that's my guess. If anyone has more experience with this and he kind of points over to chess, let us know what you think is best.
How far is it?
Um, what, Lucas? What do we think? Like maybe like a couple more miles, something like that. Like I
Yeah,
imagine that we had traveled pretty far. Maybe like what quote unquote three exits down the expressway. So
yeah, most likely. I would say that when you came in and when you left, you probably did so via the suburbs, um, which, yeah, definitely probably take longer. You also know that in the suburbs are a little more unpredictable than being on the freeway because there in the suburbs there's buildings all kinds of places that the dead could be just sort of hiding, whereas on the freeway, particularly on some of the overpasses, it's difficult to like there's only so many places they could be, and you'd be able to see them coming from a much longer way off as there's not all that much that is blocking your vision on the freeway. That said, you don't yourself know the condition of the freeway as you did not use it going in or coming back.
yeah, I know we took the suburbs originally because we were also scavenging on the and so I haven't been down the expressway or the highway, but that's my best guess if we need speed wise. But again, I don't know.
I mean, let's do it then. It's probably more of a straight shot, anyways.
Tell me more about what we're walking into.
Um, Lucas, do I know like is this one of those like big hospitals that was like like 8 stories tall and like took up like 2 blocks, or was this more of like a specialized place that was only like like 2 blocks square and instead of like 6 8 blocks
Yeah, it's
square?
probably
Or
closer to that than anything, as from like some of the more major hospitals are in closer towards like the inner kind of city itself. As you sort of were scavenging primarily in the suburbs, and then moved in a little bit, and then uh, found this place.
okay,
So it's probably not like a huge like you know
yeah,
towering
it's
building or anything like that. It's not like
it was it from what I was able to what we were able to find out when we went in. It was like one of those outpatient clinics. It was like 4 to 6 stories tall, but from what Glenn, I'm saying that I'm just making up a name for
mhm.
for the guy. He said it from what he said it had labs in it. Like it had like they used to do lab tests and stuff there. Like it was something where they sent blood work to. So he said it would more than likely have some of the meds that we needed, and it wouldn't have been really picked over. And it wasn't picked over because there was a lot of dead that were stuck in there. So I'm guessing it was one of the shelters in the neighborhood. So when he bumped up to, I don't know, third, fourth floor, something like that, he got stuck in there and we got separated. And I mean, I tried to make as much noise as I could running out, so he could hopefully hunker down someplace and I could lure them out to get it settled. But it's in one of those subdivision areas, and it would have looked really nice for every shit. The guy I went with is a freaking genius. I mean, the guy knows more than I could ever forget in my life. Um, so I'm pretty sure he knows how to stay put.
Hope so. So what's the worst case scenario that we'd run into? There's gonna be dead in the area. They didn't follow you. Is there a
I
way to
got
get around?
I think I got a lot of them to follow me out, but I was in a panic at that point. Um, I know there's a loading dock. Um, we didn't go in that way. We didn't need to. My guess is we could start in the loading dock and see if I can pick one of the locks or bust in that way. and sneak our way up and try to find out where he is. That's been what's running through my head for the last day or two. But if we have a professional with us that's better at this, then I will take Chess's lead on that.
How you want to do that part is up to you. I'm just good at getting in and out. There's If there's a lot of them, I'm usually pretty good at sneaking by.
It's impressive.
Well,
Lots of practice.
maybe if I need to make a distraction or something like that, that's farther away. Maybe we find something loud and I can make a bunch of noise and pull them out. Whatever you want to do. But I guess we'll know more once we get closer.
You make noise, and they'll get pulled toward you.
Yeah, and I do think going towards the back, towards the loading docks, is a great idea because hopefully it'll be off a main area and dead that there could be wandering around there. Hopefully there's a lot of congestion. So yeah, I think that was a good lead.
If there's only a couple, if there's a couple, I can probably take them down pretty quick. But if there's a lot, I'll do my best.
If there's a lot, let me do my thing.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I won't do anything stupid until we've run out of options. Deal?
If you're gonna do something stupid, would you know that it was stupid before doing it?
Most of the things I've done in my life, I have known are dumb. Yes.
Fine. Deal.
All right. You don't get arrested as many times as I have without knowing that what you're doing is.
Somebody was the bad boy in high school. Start walking.
Only
us
the
through.
stupid criminals keep getting caught, so I'll give you that. You're a good professional, you don't get caught.
So you're admitting that you are stupid. Got it.
Very much so. Yes.
Okay.
The world did not grant me with that, but the world did grant me with the ability to kick some ass. So.
So if you're
you-
stupid, how
get
do
it.
you know that your ideas are... that was my... Fine.
It's the consequences afterwards.
With that, you all kind of proceed up, kind of continuing moving along the freeway in towards the city. I'd say you managed to proceed for a few hours before you see any not a few hours, just probably about an hour down the road before you're seeing any of the dead. And even so, it's like ones and twos. They are easily dispatched or walked around. But I will say that as you start nearing the exit, you are kind of moving around some of the larger buildings that have been thus far kind of blocking some of your view inward towards the inner city. As you get closer and closer towards the city itself, you start noticing that there's something weird about the skyline of the city. And you're not sure exactly what it is until you kind of are standing at the exit where you that you need to take in order to reach the hospital. But as you look, you kind of walking towards your exit, you see up ahead as you kind of round one of the buildings that was closer and blocking the you all see something very strange, and Howard, something that you hadn't seen before, having approached from the suburbs. You see a towering spire of dark stone or something that is just jutting up out of the ground in between buildings that, looking at it from where you're standing and the buildings that are immediately around it and there's the state of them, it almost looks to you like this thing grew suddenly out of the ground and like with no regard for what was in its path. You can see a couple of the like larger buildings around it are sort of leaning to one side. Some of them on the side that faces this spire, you can see have collapsed downward, exposing the interior. And from here, you're still a little ways away, so it's hard to pick out any like specific detail of it. But what you can see is that it rises up taller than any of the buildings that are around it, and at least from here appears to have a very sort of like unnaturally smooth exterior. It doesn't look like anything that you've seen before in a city or outside of one.
I don't think a planning commission approved that building, and I'm gonna go ahead and lean upon my years of watching terrible horror movies and action movies and say we're not gonna explore that. I don't know if anyone else has seen that.
No.
I'm gonna ignore it and keep moving. But if anyone has seen that and has an explanation, he's looking at chess, I would love to have one.
Don't have an explanation.
Well, I
How does
gotta
your big brain know what that is?
No, and kind of along the same lines as you, I just want to find this hospital because we're getting on a time crunch, and I can't guarantee that Candace is gonna be forever okay. So, I mean, if it looks important, we could always come back another time.
Lucas, have I seen one of these since that day?
No, you have not. And even the one that you did see, it was very far away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've never seen one this close. You vaguely
Yeah.
recall Shaw talking to you about them, mentioning that there were some of them all over the world. Last that they had contact. In fact, at this moment, you recall Shaw saying the first one that they found was. It appeared in. Appeared in Antarctica. The next one, Australia. After that, it's hard to tell which ones came when. Yeah. You kind of come back to this moment and sort of feel a familiar chill run down your spine. As it kind of brings back the dead walking is hard to get used to, but it becomes part of daily life after a while. This is something else entirely. Something that you've not had a chance to experience enough to a degree that would make it anything but ominous.
Yeah, Howard's gonna just pretty much just keep walking. Like they don't want anything to do with this unless they have to go see it.
Yeah, was that there before, Howard?
I didn't go by this way. Is that correct, Lucas?
That's
like
correct.
I didn't. Yeah, we didn't go this way, and I don't remember seeing this. I'm not saying it's new. I'm just saying I haven't seen it.
Yeah, neither have I.
I doubt it's new.
Really? Oh, have you been here before?
No.
Is this like your neighborhood?
Have you seen one of these?
Long time ago. Yeah. They showed up around when everything started.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I have not taken my eyes off of it like this whole time. I've been
Mhm.
staring at it in the distance.
That's really eerie.
Kit.
They showed up before or after?
I don't know. I
Oh,
wasn't in town. I was in the middle of fucking woods, and then I got back and it was there, and so
yeah,
I don't
no.
know
Well,
if it came before or after because everything kind of had already happened, you know. But,
well, shoot. Um,
Um,
I yeah, give it a
Kit,
glance and then just kind of turn around.
Kit, I need real quick. I need a wits roll from you.
just straight wits.
Mm-hmm. And on this one, you will add your stress on this one.
Okay, that was a 6, a 6, and a 3, and then I'm adding my stress right now. So and that's a 5. Okay.
Okay.
Damn.
There, as you're sort of staring at this, at first you're kind of unable to take your eyes off it because you're just sort of stunned by its presence here, and also feeling everything that you feel in regards to it. But for a brief moment, as your companions start kind of moving along, you almost feel for a second like even if you wanted to look away, you couldn't. Almost as if this thing itself is holding your gaze. And then you you hear the voices of your companions as they sort of move away, sort of talking, and you kind of get snap out of it, and maybe it's an illusion, a trick of the light, but it almost seems like a moment ago where this spire dominated your vision and your view of the city. Now it almost seems much more innocuous than it did just a moment ago. Just like, other than its odd shape, it's just another part of the city skyline.
Do I remember though, right? That it's
Hmm?
but I can still tell that it's there, right?
Yep, absolutely. It
Okay.
just feels like it's like you're looking at it. It hasn't changed at all, but it's almost like your perception of it has. Like a moment ago, it was this imposing, ominous thing that loomed large above you, and now it's just kind of there.
How far is the hospital?
I think it's just the next exit, to be honest.
You kind of turn to see where Howard is pointing, and you actually do see that there is one of like the highway signs that like has like on it like hospital and just given where you're looking, and Howard at this point you are starting to see like you're approaching from a different angle, but it is familiar air territory to you, and you would note that the hospital is kind of the opposite direction from the this odd spire.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the next exit up here, and Howard's actually going to kind of have a little bit more rush to his step because of what Bro's been saying.
Mm-hmm.
Last little bit of just trying to hurry it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm keeping step with you, having a little bit of trouble, because you're a bit faster. And I'm just like, well, if it came up around that time, then I mean, it's probably something that could have caused it, or maybe it's like reactionary to it, and it's like supposed to be a countermeasure or something, and like ward away zombies or be a place to get safety. I don't know. It'd be interesting to check it out sometime, though.
One thing at a time. Let's get this. Let's get this done and get him back and get your sister all fixed up, and then we'll trade or barter for whatever we need to make sure she's okay, and then we'll, if you want to come back, we'll come back.
We'll see.
All right. You all move on. Kit, there's a part of you that almost feels like you're moving, like you're turning away from this thing involuntarily, but you are able to catch up with the others as you turn off down the highway. I'm gonna say a little while later, you can see ahead of you the hospital looming up as you kind of are walking kind of downhill down a city street towards where the hospital is, and as you kind of crest up over the hill itself, you finally have the hospital revealed to you, and the thing that you can see is while Howard, while it is still largely kind of the way that you left it, you see that some of those that you were able to some of the dead that you were able to lead away are, instead of having sort of wandered off, are now kind of wandering in between you and the hospital. Not as a swarm, but definitely, like, not quite so tightly packed, but definitely in where there's really, you're gonna have, you looking at it can tell that you're gonna have to work hard to kind of get through them to the hospital.
All right, these are the ones. I think these are the ones I at least got outside, but it apparently they did not disperse. Are we thinking I head down a block or two because I've been here before and try to create some kind of disturbance, and then meet up with you around the loading docks? What do you think is best?
I'll take care of them. You guys, I'll meet you there.
Oh,
Okay, we ain't got time to argue, so I'll let you be professional about it.
Listen, I'll do this. And I need you to help me with that.
Yeah, whatever you need. Like you name it and you get it. Whatever I can do.
Kit, as you're sort of, you kind of turn to kind of like look, now it's out of sight, but you turn to kind of like look back in the direction. And suddenly, from kind of like a nearby building, kind of that you're standing next to, you hear just the softest and you turn at just in time to see like one of the like very dusty, foggy windows shatter outwards as several of the dead just sort of start kind of piling out. Kit, you kind of brace yourself as you're kind of like the closest one to them, as they come towards you, and you have barely a moment to react, but they are moving past you to Ro and Howard, in a way that is impossible to miss.
I'm gonna look up at them and just say, "Go."
okay. And we'll
Come on, girl, let's go.
Okay.
Making quick time.
Yeah. As they're like lunging for like past Kit, towards like Ro and Howard, the two of you quickly start darting down the street and just sort of booking it. As Kit, you watch them go, and you kind of like looking around as like a few of them sort of move around you. One of them kind of walks up next to you, Kit, and just sort of slowly turns its head and looks at you. No, like there's no lower jaw on this one, as it's just sort of like hanging a little bit. Just sort of turns and just turns, just fully. Words are hard. Hold on. Just basically like fully like milky corpse-like eyes to you, unseeing, just stares at you for a moment, and then head slowly turns away as it continues, following the other two. And I think that is where we're going to stop. Whew. All right.
I love
So cool.
Where's this mysterious tower?
That
Dude.
defense, man.
I think you can see the moment where my eyes got super
Mhm.
wide.
Yep.
Yep.
I was like,
You talked about the skyline, and I instantly was like,
All right. Well, we're gonna go, but we will be back next week for the conclusion of this. So thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us tonight, and thank you Danny and Steve for doing this because it's very cool. Your characters are awesome, and I'm very excited to do more with them. But yeah, so thanks everybody. We'll be back next week. And yeah, but if not, oh, also, we on there is probably, because I don't know what schedule is, but typically on Fridays we have Ramblemancy here at 6 p.m. Pacific time, right here on this channel, where we talk about all kinds of like nerdy stuff. So you can come by and hang out and chat with us. I don't know if that's what the schedule is going to be at the time that this is airing, but that does happen on Fridays typically. So hopefully you'll join us for that in a couple of days. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Thank you so much. Good night and good zone, everybody.